And welcome to the podcast. My name is Gbafade, and here with me I have Adura Adebanji. Ma, please can you say hi to the house?
Hi everyone, how are we doing today?
We're actually fine. We are fine. So welcome to the Friends podcast. We will be talking a lot around the transgender issue, the they them pronouns. We really want to understand where they are coming from and where they are going to, because there's a lot of controversies when it comes to this issue, transgender. So with me, Adura Adebanji, will be co-hosting. Yeah, co-hosting, but I remain your host. So we'll be talking about the transgender issue, and from here, I know a lot of us we've been seeing a lot of things online talking about I'm a guy, I'm a woman, I'm a trans woman, I'm a trans man, I'm a gay, I'm a lesbian, the LGBTQ family, and every single thing. A lot of people don't really even understand what the LGBTQ community is all about. Some people mix up the lesbian to the gay to the everything. So we'll be discussing around that. We'll be bringing the scriptural perspective and also the psychological perspective coming together, together. So we are believers and can't really take out the scriptural perspective of every single thing, because God is our creator. So Ma,
All right, like she rightly said, we have a lot of controversy going on online in the social media space, where we have many people bringing up a lot of ideology about how the gender should be defined, how people should begin to express themselves the way they feel. And we believe that, during this podcast, we bring more understanding to all of these things, because many of these controversy they are beginning to affect the young minds, they're beginning to affect the younger generation. And because of our unending passion for the younger generation, we seek to bring a brighter perspective from the word of God to correct some of these controversies that we have out there. And we're going to be defining as well as explaining properly from the perspective of God, because the truth is that, like rightly said, if you've been following our podcast, you see that we've said over and over again that true sanity comes from seeing the way God sees. And if you don't acknowledge first of all God as creator, you will define everything wrongly. You will see things wrongly, because man himself, in man, is that man has willpower, right? Man has the ability to make choices, so it's very easy for man to rebel against the design of his creator. So when you see a lot of things coming up, it's not just as though, okay, I think we'll still talk about that later though, about all of the the pride month, the satanism attached to it, and all of those things. So we'll come in from there, but before then we would like to bring some definitions, or like to clear your doubts, because many people watch some of these videos online but they don't go to the roots, they don't check properly. So they see things on the surface and they're just like, because of their curiosity, they're not pushing so hard to understand vividly what all of these things entails, what is ideology really is, how it started, when it started, what exactly brought about this, this whole explosion. Many people started hearing about this probably last year and this year. It just started exploding everywhere. But these things has been for over 50 years now, right? So, and it started with somebody. Of course, it started a long time ago, but like the modern day expression started with somebody.
When talking about even the modern day transgender issue, I'll go into a story. John Money is actually a scientist, and he believes in a lot of sexual orientations and the rest. And this guy, he believes in pedophile, he believes in asexual, he believes in a lot of things about sexuality and the rest. So he was talking about how a girl can be a woman can be a man, and a man can be like, you are a man but captured in a female's body. You are a female, you are a man captured in a female's body. You are a female captured in a man's body, and you can actually define yourself the way you want to define yourself, that your sex should not define your gender. You get? So John Money now is actually a scientist. I was looking for a way to experiment, and luckily for him and sadly for the family, he found out I think he was talking in television, where the family actually saw him as a god, because then the family was going through a crisis that the son, they gave birth to a twin, and the son, yeah, they gave birth to a twin, and the son, luckily or unfortunately for the son, the nurse that was doing the circumcision, the nurse mistakenly burnt the penis of the child. So burning the penis of the child, the parents, they were in crisis, they were depressed, and so they were looking for solution on how they would go about the whole issue of how they would raise their sons and the rest. Then unfortunately for them, they found out a man called John Money. John Money in the TV was talking about how a man can be captured in the wrong body and how a woman can be captured in the wrong body, and the family just, okay, let them take up the experiment. And they took up the experiment. Actually, they raised the child as a girl instead of a boy, and they didn't tell the child that it was actually a boy. Right? You can check it up on YouTube. It's actually everywhere. They didn't tell the child that it was actually a boy, but the child growing up, they bought the child Barbie. They always tell us that we are emotional being. We love the Barbie house, the dolls, the rest, and the rest. So because of that, now the child now grew up with the Barbie house. But unfortunately for the parents, the child turned out to be, they started calling the child a tomboy, because the child didn't really like the whole Barbie thing and the rest. He was rebelling and the rest. Even when the child wants to pee, it stands up to pee and the rest. So because of that, John Money now said, no, far before then, John Money said his experiment was a success, because David River was actually behaving like a girl, the characteristics of a girl. We won't go into how a guy should behave and how a girl should behave, because there's a lot of difference. Like they say a guy is woman, is emotional, a guy and the rest. So now he was behaving more like a girl, but unfortunately the experiment was not a success. But we were told the experiment was a success, because after 34 years before the guy came out and said that he was going through a lot of trauma, depression and the rest, and the guy died. The guy took his own life out of depression. You won't transit mean you've transited from a guy to a female, but now you want to go back to a female to a guy. So he did transit, but still I heard he could not give birth and the rest. So what a sad story, just because of a mistake of a scientist thinking a guy can live as a guy and the rest. So there's a lot of story about this transgender issue. So transgender has started since 1955, and we really don't know anything about it. We really don't know until of recent people started finding out about the whole transgender of the thing and the rest.
Okay, why we're so particular about this topic is because we've discovered that a large number of the younger minds, they are exposed to the social media.
Yeah.
And over like maybe let me say 6 months now, we've been having the social media being bombarded, and then a lot of media stuff being posted alongside, around this LGBTQ stuff.
Yeah.
And then a lot of children watch it. A lot of teenagers, they watch it, and we also have many persons even in the Western world beginning to change their bodies, beginning to reflect, or beginning to make choices around the things that they see, because the mind feeds on available knowledge. If you don't know something, you can't act it out. Okay, if you're not exposed to something, it cannot become something you want to express. If you look at many years before now, okay, we didn't have such kind of crisis. People were born, and then they began to live the way they were born. We had male, we had female. But as time went on, because the fact that science is always innovating, trying to bring up new stuff, trying to look for how they can allow humans begin to be more to make them more rebellious in their pursuit for independence, in their pursuit to make decisions of their own. They're going to alter a lot of things that are actually their original wiring. Because some of these guys, like she mentioned David Raymer at a point in his life grew up thinking he was a girl, because that was what they sold to him. That was a lie they sold to him. But somewhere inside, the original wiring, the original framework that is inside of him was that of a boy, was that of a male. So he couldn't live a normal life. If you are part of those people who maybe listen to a lot of them speak, you watch them, you realize that in the research they are not living normal lives. They know they are not even happy. They are just managing. They're just trying to be along. They're just trying to play along. Just trying to look for a lot of things to just comfort them. But in real sense, they are not okay. Something inside of them is turning away from what something inside of them is turning away from what they really are trying to express. And that is that the man, after some time, tried to turn back. Then before you know it, he lost his life in the process. Many of them that have gone through surgical processes, I can recall many of them I worst, that will tell you it is terribly painful. It's a whole lot. It's them altering, blocking their hormones. It is them altering their sexual organs, taking it off, as if God did not know what he was doing when he created them. You need to understand that the aspect of understanding what your gender is not just at birth alone. Even at the point of conception, God had already made your framework. It is at the point of birth you now become aware of what it is. So there's no need to now start trying to turn to something else, become something else at the expense of exactly what God has designed you to be as someone. I know there are a lot of controversies out there, so sometimes it's hard to explain properly, because many persons who listen, who are already a victim of being a transgender or transiting, they have the backing of community, they have the backing of rules and regulation, they have the backing of of bills passed into law, they have the backing of their parents, they have the backing of their teachers. They tell them, oh, it's okay, you don't have to be what you don't want to be. And we let them go through painful processes, we let them go through depression, we let them go through a lot, just in a bid to make them act the way they feel. We have a lot of laws, even in the Western world, that tell you, okay, you don't drive until you're this age, you shouldn't do this until you're this age. Because they believe that making proper decisions comes with a level of growth and maturity. And then now we have children as young as 4-year-old, and you're telling them that they know what they do, what they are saying, when they tell you they feel they are in a wrong body. As in, let me ask you a very candid question. When I'm going to use a natural scenario so that maybe we can understand better. The manufacturers of Ford motors, for instance, they had the plan in their mind. They were the masterminds behind the design. They knew the proper engine to fit into the motor. They knew the proper materials to use to produce, to use to manufacture everything. After their manufacturing process, will it make enough sense for the motor to, or for the car, for the vehicle to just decide that, oh, I think I'm locked up in the wrong body, I think I'm not supposed to be like this? The manufacturer himself already knows the best things to use to design the vehicle, to make it of the best substance, to make it the best it can be. So you altering it, for instance, it's actually below standard. It will actually even make it malfunction. Have you not seen sometimes when you buy maybe a phone, for instance, they'll tell you that, oh, make sure you use the charger that comes with the phone, because it enables the phone to function properly. They tell you when you're using multiple chargers, that's a tendency of affecting it. Or maybe they tell you that, oh, if you use another battery for a particular phone, it affects it. So people are always seeking to look for the original. They're always wanting to, let's stick to the manual, let's stick to the manufacturer's design. It's the same thing in this context, because when you begin to think that, you want to do something outside of the box, outside of the way you have been created, the way you came forth from the womb, it becomes a perversion. It becomes something that is not in line with the creator's manual. So we cannot define ourselves based on how we feel, or else everyone will feel. In fact, the time will come when they will feel like they are the sun. The time will come when they will feel like, I feel like I'm a moon in the sky. So you just want to hang up there and not come down anymore. You feel like you are a house. I mean, you can feel anything. Trust me, feelings are, they are without boundaries. You can feel like anything, but it does not define you. It does not define the exact design that you came with from the manufacturer.
Talking about this, actually, you can't really define yourself outside what the manufacturer has actually designed you to be. You can't be a house when you are a man. I even on the online space now, children are saying that I'm a goat, I'm a cow, I'm a snake, and the rest. Let's even go into the whole phrase of LGBTQ plus A. No, it's over 2 plus now and the rest. So we really want to really define these things because we really don't understand how these things are actually going and the rest. So we have LGBTQ, right? We just want to define the terms LGBTQ, transgender, the transition, transitions, and the rest. So L stands for lesbian. Lesbian are those who like a girl, like if you are a girl, you're attracted to a girl. Do you understand? G stands for gay. Gay are those people, if you are a guy, you're attracted to a guy. You're not attracted to a girl. All these things are feelings. Do you understand? They're emotional feelings. I can love a guy, doesn't make me have a sexual, like I can love a girl as part of my family. I love my sister. I love, but that doesn't make me being attractive to my sister to go beyond the aspect that this even happened in Sodom and Gomorrah, like when the guys were sleeping with a guy and the rest, and it's even against the scriptures as believers that a girl and a girl, like, and funny enough, a girl and a girl cannot reproduce because the reason for sex is not to have a feeling. To have that feeling, wow, and the rest, they just paint a picture for you to just have that feeling. No, the main reason for sex is for reproduction. So a female and a female cannot reproduce, a male and a male cannot reproduce because you need the sperm and the semen to come together to reproduce. So the man now brings from the XY chromosomes, the woman the XX chromosomes comes together to form the baby. So the gay and the lesbian, there's no, even when they want to even give birth of their children, they go to the places like what's the name of this? God, why am I forgetting this? You are not the owner of the child, but surrogacy, they go to that extent to form because they know. Because you are attracted to someone doesn't mean that you should have a sexual relationship with the person. You get? So we'll go further. Transgender. So our major topic is about the transgender. Transgender is someone that, okay, it's like I'm captured in a wrong body. I'm a man, but captured in a woman's body. I'm a woman captured in a man's body, and the rest. And these definitions are based on the characteristics of the person. You get the characteristics of the person because I'm emotional, and I feel it's because of the way our parents actually trained us. They trained girls to be more emotional than the guys. They trained girls to be less educated than the guys, so that it will not look like the girl is more powerful. Even if you want to get your own money, your parents will ask you, you want to get your own money, you want to get your money. Your husband already has the money and the rest. So they trained the girl to be more under the guy. Do you understand? More under the guy and the rest. So because of that, guys that are more authoritative and as the form of the man, then I feel okay, I look more like a man, so I have the characteristic of man. So why not just behave like a man, and why not just openly say I'm a man? Do you get? That's where the transgender issue is coming from. Then a woman who is more bold and more distant, and no, a man who is more say feminine, like feminine, muscular and the rest. A man who is more feminine, and I'm like I'm a girl, I'm a female, I talk like a female, so even when you even look at this, the transition and the transition set, I guess we watched the video when the one was talking about a 12-year-old child who puts the penis under his lap, close it up to slim it down. So if you even understand that psychology, they are still defining themselves based on sex. Actually, because if really I feel like a female, I'm a man, and I feel like a woman, I should not define myself based on the sex. There's no need for me to transit or do it. If it's based on our mental picture of this thing, if I'm a house doesn't make me, thank you. If I'm a house doesn't make me that I should stay under the house, or I should build myself. Like I really don't know. If I'm a cat doesn't make me like I should change myself to a cat. Do you get? So I'm just saying that if they feel like we can't define ourselves based on the sex, based on the gender and the rest, based on the sex and based on the gender and the rest, I feel there's no need for them to transit. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So because of this, now we now understand the fact that these people are actually so these transitions and the rest, I don't know, can we, before we go in deeper, can we define the term, the gender and the sex, the transgender and the rest? Like, what's gender to you, what's sex to you and the rest?
Okay, when we talk about definitions, it's amazing now that even when you go online right now, we all have edited versions of
Yeah.
what definitions are. It's so pathetic. If you had maybe searched for these words years back, they would have given you a more reasonable answer though.
Yeah.
But now we have a lot, even Oxford Dictionary down to all of them, they're all edited. They're all telling us that gender is not defined by biological compositions.
Compositions,
It's
yeah.
not based on how the society defines you or how you define
Find
yourself,
yourself.
or how you see yourself. In fact, they even say gender is constantly evolving. That's the mental state of expression. It is how you begin to see yourself, you define yourself as, and automatically you now become.
Yeah.
You see, so they are actually also saying that the difference between sex and gender.
Gender, yeah.
That was exactly what was actually a battlefield some months back. They were saying that okay, when we talk about sex, we have just three types of sex. Online, they were saying that we have just three types of sex, but they have varieties of gender.
Yeah.
Because sex is just okay now. You have a male, female, and maybe intersex, something like that.
Yeah.
Then gender is without boundaries. You can actually gender is like an expression.
Yeah.
So gender is what not define what you now do with your sex afterwards. Because a male, when you give birth to a male, of course we know some of the things that we can find in the body of the male gender. We can find the penis, we just see some normal biological biological composition.
Yeah.
You look at the female, one thing they first look at is okay, your private organ.
Yeah.
Okay, it defines, it just brings a distinction
Yeah.
in both the male and the female.
female.
But now they are saying, oh, why limit yourself to how your container looks like?
Yes.
You know what they are saying? That the real you is inside. The real you should be able to express whichever way it wants.
Yeah.
But I don't think the creator, the one who designed you, is confused. If not, maybe you would have actually created yourself from the start. Why not come
Why
the
not just
original?
come the
Why do you
original
have to
state?
start all? What if there were no advances in technology like this?
Yeah.
What would have been your fate? Oh, you would have lived depressed. You'd have remained just thinking, meditating on how you want to become a female. No, you should
Yeah.
understand that this is a perversions in the mind. As I said, the mind feeds on available knowledge.
Yeah.
Even before this whole stuff started, this whole serious experiment by John Money started, it was not a well-established fact. It was not
Yeah.
a well-established ideology. People just maybe probably thought about it. The profession was coming gradually, but the moment they had a lot of experiment going on around it, and there were a lot of surgical processes, people
Yeah.
began to buy the idea. People were only waiting for someone who would have like what we call like a breakthrough in science, who can change the human, like change some things, remove the penis, insert the vagina. They were just looking for such breakthrough before they start expressing themselves fully.
Yeah.
So when you look at it carefully, if really you were actually supposed to be a female, why didn't you come like that? If you really thought you're supposed to be a man, why did you come like that? Who locked you in a female
female's
body? Does that mean that the person has more authority and the person created you? The person knows what your design
Yeah.
is. So why then are you trying to be rebellious against who actually created you with that design? That is to help us see that the gender, whatever is being defined as gender right now and sex right now out there, is not actually the truth. It's not actually the real thing. It's just a perversion to just satisfy the minds of people.
Yeah.
You get? Because think about it, even if we are trying to be logical, how do you explain a child saying that he is a cat? Of course, we know what a cat is, don't you? Don't you know what a cat is? You know, right? So when you hear your child saying, oh, I'm a cat, I'm a dog, and then you're saying, oh, don't correct him, that's how he feels. Do you not see that this is utter madness? Some of them really, in the real sense, because they have a lot of pets. Maybe probably they have cats, and cats is their favorite pet. They just think, oh, I want to be a cat. So I even saw a grown-up man who really wants to be a dog. He wears the costume. He just wants to. He prefers being in his dog skin all the day. You realize that these things, it just psychological effects. These things are affecting them because of their exposures. So a lot of things. That's why we already formally established that the true sanity that we have is in God, is in the true definition that the word of God gives to us. You know why we are pressing this year? It's because many of the people who have brought up their ideologies, it's just because we use the word religion. It's more like an ideology. It's more like a system structure that explains how life should be
Yes.
So they are coming up with their own ideologies too. Everyone is trying to come up, but look at how the progression has been. Before now, we only know lesbian, gay, we know
Yeah.
transgender, we know bisexual. But all of a sudden now we are seeing things like two spirits. We are seeing things like queer, questioning. You are in between. You don't know what you are. Come on, you can be a fan. Because I don't, it's funny. Why can't you not be a fan since you're questioning? Be anything.
You
Be
can be a fan, be
immaterial.
fanning us.
Because if you think you can be anything, then you missed it.
Yeah.
You have an original design of what exactly you should be.
Yeah.
And there is a reason why you are like that. There's a
Yeah.
reason why you are designed to us. That means you must understand that there is also a superior, a superior
Superior
power,
being.
a superior being that actually designs everything according to his own will. It's a predestination, not your choice. Okay? It's a predestination, not your choice. So I believe people should begin to, rethink again. Let's sit down and really analyze all of these ideologies flying around, because it won't end.
That's
It
true.
won't end
It's two
except we are.
spirits.
I'm telling you, because when did they add these two spirits, my sister? I think it was this year. Probably some people just came up. Even when you look at the definition of the two spirits online,
nowhere
it's
defined.
not clear. It shows that people will just come up any day and just define what they want to be. They can try to be immaterial, not having life, and then they'll just be there mute.
And
They are
the
not
funny thing is
talking.
that science will even sponsor it.
Exactly. Science will keep sponsoring it. You remember that last month was their Pride Month, and they began to flaunt out that they are in their Satan loves you. They began to express more of Satanism.
Yeah.
This is to clearly show that it is a perversion against the will of God, the Creator. It
Yeah.
shows that it's being sponsored by the doctrine of demons.
Yeah.
This expressly shows that this is not the design of God,
Yeah.
who has everything in accordance to His will.
Yeah.
Satan is just trying to pervert the mind of people to make them more rebellious against the original design of God.
Of God, yeah. Even as mothers are even having issues with their kids, because California, they want to there's a new law now. Well, they've not signed the bill. There's a new law stating that if, as a parent or as a mom, a dad, if you actually feel you can't accept your children as the the lesbian, the gay, the transgender man in a female's body and the rest. So if you don't want to accept your children like that, they will take the children from you. Even in classrooms now, you can't even speak against it. If you are a teacher, you are speaking against the transgender movement, they will they will sack you. You will resign. So a lot of people don't even want to talk because they love their job, but they know these things are actually bad, these stuffs are actually bad, and the rest. And the funny thing is, the school system is so fucked up that you can't speak against it. So now parents are now saying, okay, how will I train my child? How will I bring my child up in the educational system when even the educational system are teaching their children without their permission? Even John Money said he carried the twins, David, River, and his twin brother. He was taking them in for sections without the parents' consent and the rest. And the funny thing, the kids are always in the driver's seat, in the passenger seat. The parents are actually in the driver's seat. They are the one, like, the parents understands the children. So how can a doctor who just spoke with my child for 2 hours telling me that my child is captured in a wrong body and the rest, and me now, the mother that gave birth to the child, went through the 9 months, went through every single stress, and the rest, you're not telling me that I don't know my children more than you, that just put to my child for 2 because of what? You have a certificate of everything. If only these people actually know that the doctors and the rest that are sponsoring their ideology, the way John Money sponsored his ideology without really knowing that it will affect those children. Imagine now a child that grew up as a girl now wants to be a guy that he was originally. To tell you that there's a wiring inside. They won't. From the story, I ever heard that the child, if the child wants to pee, stands up to pee, there's a wiring in. Like my sister said in the beginning, she was saying that there's a wiring in you. There's a way you are wired as a female, there's a way you're wired as a male, and the rest. There's a lot of things to be said here and the rest. So let's talk about this puberty blocking and the rest. This science is now coming in. You block your penis, block every single thing, just to make sure that you look like a girl. If really they are not defining it by sex, So I don't know if you have anything to say around there and the rest.
Okay, I want to talk about blocking the expression of puberty. Like I said before, the original you, the internal wiring in you, which is what we call the gender, the internal expression, the reality of who you truly are begins to find expression through some of this puberty. A lady is growing up, she begins to develop certain part of her body. A male is growing up, he begins to develop certain part of his body. That was the original design. But then when we begin to have science telling us that we can alter it doesn't matter, it means that there is a problem somewhere. It means that they are only working based on psychology. They are trying to just please. How, like I said before, feeling does not define any man. I said if you did not choose to be part of mankind, then you should not choose which you should be, male or female. Because the one who created you, if you wanted it to be a cat, he would have made you so. If you wanted it to be a male, he would have made you so. If you wanted it to be something else, he would have made you so. But the fact that you are male means that it is your predestination. It means that you cannot change it. It means that is who you are. So you should embrace it and live in accordance to that understanding. There's so much we would like to say. That is how we're going to have another part of this series again. But I want you to ponder on these questions again and again. How logical is it for someone who was born male to begin to think of changing into another body? To begin of changing. And the fact is not that, the funny part is that if we take away surgical processes, how would the person survive? Like imagine there's no surgical process to validate how you feel. So what would be the hope for the person? The person will just be there feeling like, okay, I'm locked up in the wrong body. The person will not think about it. It's because they are preferring solutions. That is why it looks like a viable option. If they're not preferring solutions, everybody's okay. Trust me. They are okay in their bodies. Nothing is wrong with them. But the moment they began to profess solution, people began to feel like, okay, yes, I want to be. And because of some of their experiences too, some of them have been, treated badly as maybe a female or maybe only female in the house, or your siblings are guys. So you just feel like, no, I also want to be like this. They first started with all of this skin color. They were like, I don't want to feel black. I want to change to a white color. People did it. So because science has always been preferring solution, they think that is the right thing to do. But this one, the reason why we are even sitting on it more carefully is because it's a direct attack on the design of the creator. This is man wanting to become or to look like what it feels like rather than what God has ordained him to be.
That's true. Actually, that's really true. If you can't allow your child to drink before 18 alcohol, you can't allow your child to drive in his or herself. He's now driving his own life, because you're actually permitting the child to decide for himself if he should grow as a female or if he should grow as a male, and the rest. So there's a lot of ideology. I haven't watched a documentation asking these people what is a woman. They can't even define the simple type. Okay, you feel like a woman. Okay, you're defining it. What is a woman? You are confused. I feel if you really feel you are a woman, you should define what a woman is. If you feel you are a man, you should define what a man is. You should define yourself based on your feelings. But now you don't even know what you're feeling as a man.
But do you know the funny part I've realized? That even in all of this, they are transiting to the other gender. They've never fully been able to achieve what the real gender they're trying to transit into is. That is what makes you see that gender is even beyond sexual form or sexual, form, or what they call that thing. It's beyond maybe you have a vagina or not. Because after they insert the vagina, they realize that certain things are impossible. The supposed transited man that transited to a what we call gender transition, transited to a female, does not have some possibilities at work. It keeps forcing. I watched a lot of them. They will go to some place, say, okay, how can I carry a child in my room? They are struggling. If really you were supposed to be a female, it wouldn't have been that hard, don't you think so? It wouldn't take you so much, right? Don't you think so? It might not have taken you maybe a thought process, just think about it, and before you begin to go. No, you have to cut off your penis. You have to go as far as maybe inserting a vagina, and then at the end of it all, you still cannot even operate normally. functionally as a female. The only thing is that maybe you are not learning to, have that characteristics of, the way you walk, the way you speak, you change your
And
hair
characteristics
type,
doesn't even define
but it does not define you. You can see clearly that they've been unable to totally replicate the design of the woman, no matter how much they transit. Do you see that this is all flawed? Do you see that if truly the guy was locked up in a female's body, it would have been so easy for him, so easy for him to change to a guy? Because of course I'm really a guy, so I'm not gonna worry. So changing would have been easy because the inside of him should define what it should look outside. They don't have gone through all of this process. At the end of it all, they are not unable to give you an original design, just the way a woman is. That is why if you bring a man that transited from a man to a woman, and a woman, a biological woman, you will see clear differences. No matter how much they've done the breast, they've done all of the surgical stuff, you can see clear differences. Many of these people who have transited, they are living with pains, they are living with a lot of regret, but they can't tell you. Within themselves, they are not happy. They know they've made wrong decisions. They know they are not themselves, but they can't tell you. So they are feeding the young minds with these stories, making them to make wrong choices. And this is a war against the younger generation. We can't afford to keep quiet. We must keep pushing. We must keep insisting that these things are wrong. These things are perversions that must be cut, that must be taken out of the way, or else our younger generation will be fed with things that they can no longer reject. It will become the only option they have to feed on. That is why we are pushing for this idea.
The truth is, someone made a statement of recent. The person said that you might be very popular in a school, and maybe a few years to come, you will not be popular. You go back to the school again, you will not even find out that a single person don't even know you. Do you understand? So if we don't keep pushing these things, a generation will rise, and a generation will not even know that there was something called two sex and binary and the rest. Do you get? So we should keep speaking. Even parents, we should be more educated around these things. So when our children come knocking at our door saying, okay, I heard of a pastor saying that in a cartoon, her daughter was watching a cartoon, and I think her daughter was watching a cartoon, or his daughter was watching a cartoon, and he found out that the daughter saw a guy and a guy kissing. The daughter ran and said, daddy, I saw a guy and a guy kissing. What does that mean? Imagine your son or your daughter is asking that kind of question. Daddy, I just heard about something. I want to be trans. They don't know anything. Children repeat what they hear. Do you get? It's more like echo. Like it's an echo. They heard something, they are saying, and some parents say, I am a child, they don't hear it from anywhere, and you know that the media is fucked up. Your child is always on the media. There's a lot of things talking about this transgender and the rest. So tell me if your child is not going to hear about it. I don't know. Your community, people are talking about it. Your children must hear about it one way or the other. So I feel parents who should be educated around this topic, so that when the child comes and say, mother, please, I really don't understand what's happening to me. I feel like I'm a man. I feel like I'm a woman. I feel like you are helping the child. I heard of a story where the child was stealing, and I think it's a popular Nigeria story. The child was stealing, and because the child was stealing, the mother did not see anything. The death point of the child now told his mother to come closer. Then the child now bites the ear of the mother off. Now say, why didn't you correct me, or why didn't you help me? This is the same question your children will ask you. Why didn't you correct me? Do you get? Even if your child is saying that I want to transit, see from the start point. As mothers, if you know how to pray, go down on your knees, start praying for your child, start coming back to a place of prayer for your child. If you have a platform, start writing against these things. I know the YouTube they are blocking and the rest, but if we keep pushing them, how did we even get independence? What's his name? I forget his name. Like, imagine how this guy did not push. I'm trying to recall his name. I wish he didn't really push in for slavery and the rest. Do you get? You see that we'll still be enslaved to today. So there should be a point where you should speak out. There should be a point where you should be the advocate. There should be a point where you should speak out, because study and knowing something actually makes you speak out. Do you get? Now these people are speaking out, the science are speaking out. If you're a lawyer, speak out. If you're a doctor, speak out. Because these things will affect the younger generation as time goes on. You will even see that reproduction will stop. Do you get? Reproduction will stop. You now see that people are not. I feel the major issue is with reproduction because they are always trying to reduce the population.
Exactly. They have a bad agenda.
Yeah.
That's the sincere truth of reducing the population. They did it with coronavirus, right?
Yes.
So it's just like they are just doing different things to just
stop
reduce
the population.
Exactly.
Because this is a direct attack to even sexuality. Because if you transit from female to male, you don't have the possibilities to even give birth again because you've altered some things. You've altered puberty. You altered a lot. You started taking male hormones. You started taking female hormones and the rest. So because of that, now you altered a lot and the rest. So the truth is, you really have to work on speaking out. Like, speak out, talk, speak out, talk.
Yeah.
Use the platform to speak out. Even if when you even go to Twitter now, you see that the Twitter, if you do hashtag the transition, a lot of people are regretting it. Why did they do this? Why did they do that? There are testimonies online say, ouch, I know I wouldn't have done it. Ouch, I know I wouldn't have done it, because affecting them is more like a lifetime with you and hospital and the rest. So
exactly, they keep frequenting hospitals, and because these surgical processes are not done once, they keep doing them over and over again. Many of them are just plagued with some of these pains. But the truth is that people are not speaking up as much too. That's why we need a lot of people who understand these truths to stand up and really talk. We need people who can make the right policies. We need people who can stand for the truth. You see, we need people who can stand for the truth. And that is how we're encouraging parents, people, guardians, people who understand the truth about what God has really designed from the beginning. Like Jesus would say, he said in the beginning he made them male and female. So if he made them male and female, and he also explained that in the context of marriage, that's how we have a lot of perversions around marriage. You see how that we have male, female, all of those things. He said in the beginning he made them male and female, and he said a man will leave his father and mother and be joined to his wife, which is a female. It was established that way. That was the original design of God, that a male and a female will come together in marriage, matrimony. That's the way it's supposed to be. It's just like the way you have bolts and nuts. I studied engineering, and I understand how that these things have specific functions. The bolts and the nuts, they're supposed to screw one another and then seal up maybe a particular metal part. You can't do that with two nuts. You can't do that with two bolts. Do you understand? They won't achieve the right results. So they have bolts. They have their administrative functions and properties. Let's not alter these things and then we turn the world upside down. We're not struggling to look for solutions every time, and trust me, the devil will grant them inspiration on what to do. It will keep bringing some level of solution, but mind you, look at this thing very well. I leave you with a rhetorical question today. They've never been able to reproduce the exact design of a creator. No matter how much they've transited, no matter how many surgical processes they've done, they've never been able to totally replicate all of the possibilities of a woman in that of a man. The designer knows what he has done. He knows the reason for every of his design. So let's stick to that and embrace it. Let's not as man be rebellious of our own design and choose something else.
That's true. And adding to this, we'll be rounding off now. Adding to this, please, I just want to state this: if you are struggling and you feel you are captured in the wrong body, if you have issues with how will I put it now? If you have issues with sexuality, that you are attracted to the wrong body, you are attracted to you're attracted to a guy, attracted to a woman, and you are a woman or a guy, please do well to reach out, do well to talk, do well to, because these things are actually captured in our mental and the rest, ideologies and the rest. So speaking out actually helps you. Speaking out doesn't mean that we judge you. Speaking out is we want to help each other. So we really want to help you. You can reach out to us. Defense, you can subscribe on our YouTube page. Defense, you can subscribe. and also podcast. And also you can reach out to us with my number 09030720278. I repeat, 09030720278. So just reach out. Really want to help, really want to see that the younger generation come to a place of understanding their identity in Christ.